So let's start. Anyone, just unmute yourself and explain to everyone what is special equation. What do you mean by special equation? Or like, what is so special about them?
Basically, it means that
they require some conditions to give the solutions. Otherwise, we will get infinite solutions in special equation.
Okay, that's I think fantastic. Just a minute. So many screens have opened. Fair. So yeah, I think that is absolutely correct. Special conditions needs to be imposed on an equation. So for example, we have learned in the equation that it is not absolutely necessary to be able to find the solution, that you need to have more or same number of equation as the number of variables, right? So here in the special equation, we will learn that, for example, if we have two variables, if we only have one equation in x and y, can we still solve it or not? So yes, we can solve it. We have discussed it in the last classes that if we have some special conditions on the variable, yes, we'll be able to solve it. So now I'll give you guys some time, try to solve these two equations and try to come up with an answer. First equation is 3x plus 4y equals to 60. And second is 3x minus 5y equals to minus 4y equals to 60. You have to find the positive integral solutions. I don't need values. I just need how many solutions are there. Let's do it. I'll give you 2 minutes. Fair. Answer to question number 1 is 4. What about question number 2? That is straightforward question. I think probably after this slide, the moment you would see that question, you'll be able to answer it within 2 seconds. That is the hint. Okay. So guys, let's try to solve it. Infinite, yes. Very good, Samriddhi. Atul, good. Akshat, good. So see, how do you solve such sort of questions? And guys, this is the only method you would be applying in all such questions. Okay? So please pay full attention here. I'll try not to repeat. So just stay focused. So see, let's take a question number 1. 3x plus 4y equals to 60. Always and always you just have to follow one simple method. And the method is step number 1. Always try to apply hit and trial and come up with first solution. Here you can see y equals to 15 and x equals to 0 is the solution. Of course, this is not a feasible solution because I'm only talking about positive integral solution, which is like extra condition imposed. However, this is a solution to the given equation. So what I'll do is I'll just try to find one solution by hit and trial. It can be anything. You can say, sir, x equals to 20, y equals to 0. I'm absolutely fine with it. So just find any single solution. See, in this question, it is very trivial. You can visualize it because 4 divides, 60 is divisible by 4. So we can directly say x is 0 and y is 15 is a solution. But in CAT, it might happen, or at least in your mocks, it might happen that questions will not be that trivial. So what do? How do you find the first solution by hit and try? Okay, let's see. So see, what I will do is, see, this is where the application of number system comes into picture. What I would have done is, I would have said, ki, theek hai, 3x plus 4y is equals to 60. What I will do is, I will take the remainder. So for example, x ka jo coefficient hai, that is 3 and y ka jo coefficient hai, that is 4. So now what I'll do is, I'll basically take the remainder of LHS and RHS by the smallest coefficient. Why smallest coefficient? Because it just makes my life easier. It's easier to solve. That is the only reason. You might as well go with the higher coefficient, but I personally like smaller coefficient because it makes my calculation easier. So what I'm saying is, you had this equation 3x plus 4y is equals to 60. Now what needs to be done is, you need to find remainder. See, because these two equations, because LHS and RHS is same, whatever mathematical operator you performed on both the side, they need to be same, right? So I'm saying here 3 iska coefficient hai, 4 iska coefficient hai, smallest is 3. I just take remainder of LHS by 3. It has to be remainder of RHS by 3, right? Is everyone clear? This will happen, right? If two numbers are same, the remainders must also be same. Fair? So now what I'll do, I'll say कि यार remainder of 60 by 3 तो कितना है? Tell me. This is 0. 60 by 3 का remainder is 0, right? Absolutely 0, because रिमाइंडर कुछ है ही नहीं, इट्स अ परफेक्ट मल्टीपल. एंड यहाँ पे क्या होगा, नाउ ट्राई टू स्प्लिट इट. So remainder of 3x by 3, of course 3x, x is an integer, so 3x will be a multiple of 3, so this remainder will be 0. And 4y, I can actually split 4y into 3y plus y. So what I have to do now is, this is same as remainder of y by 3 equals to 0. So now when I've written this equation, I know कि यार यहाँ से y equals to 0 satisfies my equation, or y equals to 3, or y equals to 6, etc, etc. ये clear है? Because remainder of y by 3 has to be 0, so of course y has to be a multiple of 3. So what I'll do is, I'll just take any one value and then I will try to form a table. Okay, guys, this method will look very easy and will be very faster if you try to apply it going forward. So what you need to do is, you just put any one value. Say for example, you have figured out that y equals to 0 is my solution. So you just make a table and say y is 0. Now when y is 0, x kitna hoga? Just put this value, x will be 20, right? So now see, here is the trick. Now what happens is, 3x plus y, 4y is equals to 60 was your equation, right? Because you have a plus sign, you know for the fact that the sum of two numbers, which is 3x and 4y, they have to be constant. Which means, if x increases, what should happen to y? Should y increase or decrease? Sum of two entities is constant, which is 60. So if x increases, should y increase or decrease? Please tell me this. Decrease. Everyone is clear, right? Because sum is constant. So if one variable increases, other has to decrease, or vice versa. If x decreases, y has to increase, right? Because sum is constant. So now here's the trick. What you have to do is, पहला वाला तुमने hit and trial से लगा दिया using this method. Now see, if y has to increase, right? Y has to increase. Why? Because question में क्या पूछा है? It has to be a positive integral solution. So we know that this is not my desirable solution, because x and y both have to be positive integers. So now what I'm saying is that y has to increase and x will decrease. So only thing that you need to remember and understand is, see, x and y will always change in the coefficient of x, and x will always change in coefficient of y. So what I'm saying is, you can also visualize this thing by making the table. But what I'm saying is, if you know x equals to 0 is the first value, second value of x will be, x will actually change in coefficients of y, which is 4. So second value will be 4, then 8, then 12. It might as well go to negative -4, -8. Right? This is the pattern that this series will always and always follow. So because we are starting from y ka second value kitna hoga? Y will change in coefficient of x, which is 3. So which means second value of y which must satisfy my equation is y equals to 3. Then kya hoga? 6, then 9, then 12, then 15. You might as well cross check. These are the only solutions you will find. Okay, this is the pattern that you're getting. Now the interesting thing is, because y increases, x has to decrease, and x must decrease in coefficient of y, which is 4. So 20 के बाद next value कितना होगा? If x has to decrease, it has to be 16, then 12, then 8, then 4, and then 0. Now you know तुमको 0 and 0 नहीं लेना. So the only thing that is my desirable solutions are 4. These are the only 4 values, x and y. Is this clear to everyone? सबको क्लियर है? बहुत ही सिंपल है, राइट? यू कैन ऑल्सो विजुअलाइज दिस थिंग कि ये एपी बनता है, एंड हेंस एक्स इंक्रीजेस इन टर्म्स ऑफ वाई, जो भी वाई का एक कोफिशिएंट है, एंड वाइस वर्सा. ठीक है? इफ दिस इज डन, now let's try to apply the same concept in question number 2. I'll just rub it off.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Why did you take 3 as 3? Why did you divide by 3? 3x plus 4y divided by 3, right? Why did you take it as 3?
Because 3 was the lowest. See, you can do anything. I'm just saying this is the way in which you can actually find the first equation. I have done all of this only to find the first solution, which was 20,0. Here it may not be even required. Why? Because you can see and directly visualize it. But then in the CAT, there may be questions when you have 173x plus 331y is equals to say 17528, some random number, and then it will be very hard. So how do you simplify these equations? What you have to do is, you can take remainder by anything. Either you can say ki remainder by 331 or you can say remainder by 173. Remainder by 173 will help because this will be vanished, this number will be reduced, and this number will also be reduced. So you will actually be more comfortable in solving an expression which has lesser coefficient. That is why I've divided by 3. You can also divide by 4, follow the same steps, you will find the exact same thing. Because if you divide by 4, you'll get remainder of 3x by 4 is equals to 0, which means x has to be 4. So then what? So then this is the first equation. This is the first solution with which you would have started otherwise. And you can see that 3x by 4 is harder for me to visualize as compared to y by 3. Hence, I try to take remainder by the lower coefficient. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So now we'll just apply the same method here. Lowest coefficient here, this will be remainder of. So see, now directly we have to write the expression minus y by 3 equals to 0, which means table y has to be 0, right? If y is 0, x has to be 20, right? Now comes the major question, y has to increase. But because of the fact that you have a minus sign here, see, difference of two entities is constant, which means if one increases, other has to increase or decrease. Just think logically and tell me. Difference is constant, x minus y is constant, so if y increases, x also has to increase, right? Which means y ka next value kitna hoga? Y will change in coefficient of x, which means next value will be 3, and x ka next value kitna hoga? 24. You can cross check. Then 28, 32, 36, and this will be 3, 6, 9, 12. So you can see there are infinite solutions. There is no upper bound, right? Because there is no upper bound, there will be infinite solutions. Now, what you need to do next time you see such question, there's a minus sign, which means एक value बढ़ेगी तो दूसरी भी बढ़ेगी, right? Which means if you're able to find first solution, there'll be infinite solution, right? Because you can always increase both the variables, and hence there will be always infinite solution if you have a minus sign. Clear? But now if I come to you and then I probably give you a question in data sufficiency ki if there is a minus sign, okay, maybe I'll just give you a question like this: ax minus by is equals to c. If I give you a statement, just tell me true or false. If there's a minus sign and you have to find positive integral solutions for this particular equation, will it always be infinite? Yes or no? I'm just generalizing what I've just told you guys, and I'm asking you a question. If there's a minus sign, a and b are integers, so how many positive integral solutions are possible? Will it always be infinite, or there can be some constraint? Not necessarily. Okay. Can anyone explain me? Ankur, you would like to explain?
So it will depend on the value of A and B. So we are not mentioning whether they are both positive or negative. So if, for example, B will be negative, then over and A is positive, then again, it will be like the first equation. So
say it is given to you that A and B are positive integers. Then
it should be infinite.
okay, let's see. 2x minus
Sir, it
2y is
should
equals
be-
to 15. Ankur,
X minus Y.
how many solutions are there? How many integral solutions are there for this equation? Come on. Left hand side is an even number. It's a multiple of 2, x and y integers. Left hand side is an even number. Right hand side is an odd number. Can there be ever any solution of this equation?
No.
No, right? So answer has to be 0. Which means answer can either be 0 or infinite basis. If you have the first solution, you'll always be able to find some solutions. But if you are not able to find even the first solution, then there'll be 0 solution. Clear? These sort of things might come. So now, what was the summary? just read this. Do not try to write this. I hope you guys have at least solved this question, but just go through these 4 steps and tell me if it is clear to you or not. This is just the summary of what I've spoken so far. Yes, this is a very, very, very important slide. Okay. So what happens is, this is just the theory part. It may happen that you're not able to visualize.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I actually have a doubt, sir. Like in one equation, what if we have like around 20, 30 solutions? So what is the easy way to find using this pattern?
I've just told you, right? This is the easiest way to find the pattern. What is the doubt here?
Like in case if we want to find like 50 solutions, like we have 50 solutions or so to find, like a lot of solutions to find. So like in that kind of situation, like
That's an
we
AP,
don't
right?
have time.
Sure,
Yeah.
but you basically form an AP, so you just write the general term and then say general term has to be greater than 0. You know the first term, you know the common difference, you'll be able to find n. A plus n minus 1 into d has to be greater than 0. Then just find n and that's the answer, right? Okay. Okay, guys, I think we've just covered one slide in what, 30 minutes. Let's pace up. So here, there should be no doubt this is a theory slide. We'll apply all of this learning in the subsequent slides. So what happens is, a couple of times, probably you will see such questions in mocks, ki find the minimum or maximum value of k such that this particular equation has exactly 4 solutions or 5 solutions, and xy will be given as either non-integers or positive integers. ऐसे questions mocks में बहुत आएंगे, right? And while there is इसका बड़ा वाला वे होता है basis जो अभी हमने जो last slide हमने की थी उसके basis पे there is a subjective way. However, there is a shortcut to this. So this slide is only on shortcut. Don't apply mind. Just note it down. ठीक है? So that you know this is something you need to remember. इसका proof if you need to discuss, you can discuss it with me offline. We can discuss it, but अभी के लिए in the interest of time, just note this down. ठीक है? So there are certain conditions. Maybe just read this. Don't write it because in the next slide I have a summary of this. So that is the only thing you can just make in your notebooks. So here the conditions has to be, if the question is saying कि x and y are non-negative integers such that at least one of a or b is a factor of k, which means ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि this is 2, this is, so for example we have seen in the last question, right, 2x minus 2y equals to 15. You can't apply this method there because at least one of the coefficient has to be a multiple of, has to be a factor of k, else this method is not applicable. So now agar the question says find the total negative integral roots for this particular equation, total non-negative integral roots. Non-negative का क्या मतलब हुआ? It can be either 0 or positive, right? Same as what we have done. Again, this is more like a shortcut. I have told you the method, which is also fast, say 30 seconds, but this will solve the question in 5 seconds for you. So total non-negative integral roots for this equation is k divided by LCM of a comma b. This square bracket means greatest integer function plus 1. Okay? So now just remember this thing. If the question tells you ki total non-negative integral roots is say 4 and the question may say a is 3 and b is 5, so LCM of 3 comma 5 will be 15 and you will just do plus 1 should be equals to 4. So plus 1 goes there, it becomes 3. So now if you have to find minimum value of k, it has to be 45, and if you have to find maximum value of k, it has to be 15 4s are 60 minus 1 59, right? Because this is a greatest integer function. I hope you guys understand ki greatest integer value 3 kab hogi when k by 15 is either greater than equals to 3 or less than 4, which means k has to be less than 60. So maximum value of k can be 59 and minimum value of k can be 45. Clear? So this is how you apply. Just focus on the application for now. But this was agar x and y non-negative पूछा है तुमसे, right? Agar question में it is given कि x and y are positive integers, ठीक है, x and y are positive integers, a and b का value given है, you need to find the minimum and the maximum value of k such that the given equation has say 10 solutions or say 15 solutions. So if you have to find k minimum, what you do is you basically convert the variables to dummy non-negative variables and use this particular formula. What are dummy non-negative variables? I will come to this in the as we solve a question for this. Abhi ke liye just remember these things. If you have to find k maximum, you use this thing. यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा confusing होगा, but this was just the theory, and this is the slide of what I just made. This is something you can note down. कि अगर क्वेश्चन में नॉन नेगेटिव इंटीग्रल सॉल्यूशन बोला है तो यू अप्लाई दिस फॉर्मूला. ठीक है, अगर क्वेश्चन में पॉजिटिव इंटीग्रल सॉल्यूशन बोला है देन यू अप्लाई दिस फॉर्मूला. द ओनली थिंग इज सी दिस फॉर्मूला इज सेम, k upon LCM a comma b plus 1 is same. The only thing that changes is this, which is अगर तुमको पॉजिटिव इंटीग्रल सॉल्यूशन निकालना है एंड k का मैक्सिमम वैल्यू निकालना है, which you will see in the subsequent slides, then you basically use this particular formula and not anything else. Just everyone please note it down in your notebooks. This is important. So we had one question, 3x plus 4y equals to 16. ठीक है, फर्स्ट थिंग टू चेक, यहाँ पे a भी गिवन है, b भी गिवन है, k भी गिवन है, राइट? सो कुछ k मिनिमम k मैक्सिमम वाला कंडीशन नहीं है, बट व्हाट यू हैव टू चेक इज whether both of them are factors of k or only one is a factor of k. Here I know 3 is a factor of 60, 4 is a factor of 60, so this table should be applicable. And the question was asking x and y has to be a positive integers, which means this is the formula you need to apply. So you just say greatest integer of 60 by LCM of a comma b, which is 12 minus 1, which is 5 minus 1, hence answer has to be 4. Again, the shortcut of what we have just done. So I've given you both the ways. You can see which one to apply. Okay. This thing will primarily be applicable when question में you'll be asked कि यार k minimum बताओ और k maximum बताओ, and this is the formula that you apply there. And thank you so much Ikishan. So Ikishan is the one जिसने मुझे ये वाला idea दिया है कि सर आप timer भी लगा सकते हो question में. So let's see. I'll give you 2 minutes. This is the question. Okay guys, time is up. Let's see how many of you did it right. 154 is what you guys have gotten. Okay. You had to find the minimum value of k. I think everyone has gotten the same answer. Okay. Good, Sanchit. Let's solve this. See. Now, how do you apply that thing which we have just learned? It has exactly 3 solutions, right? X and Y are positive integers, which means जो second वाला row था is what we have to apply, right? And what is given to us? X and Y are positive integers is what is given to us, and we have to find the minimum value of X, right? So what we'll do is okay, yes, because okay, I'll have to change. Just give me 1 minute. Yes, so I remember, just a minute, I think this is some other question, right? It was the minimum value, correct? This was the question. So for the minimum thing, what was the formula? It was the same formula for all the equations, right? K upon LCM of a comma b, which is 77, and there are, just remember this thing, plus या minus. So minus सिर्फ तब आएगा जब हमको S maximum निकालना रहेगा, right? So only this is the thing that you need to remember. Plus 1 has to be equals to 3. Right? Is this the way it should be solved or not? यहाँ पे there is a slight catch. Because if you remember last slide में मैंने कहा था you have to convert these into dummy variables, right? So how do you convert this into dummy variables? See, here it was given to you that x and y are positive integers, right? It is given to you that x and y are positive integers, but what you have to do is you have to actually convert them into non-negative variables, which means you have to convert this form into this form. So what you will do is the minimum value of x which is possible here is 1, right? Because x and y are positive integers, and the minimum value of y that is possible here is also 1. So what you do is you just give the minimum value here. So the new equation that you will get is 7x prime plus 7 plus 11y prime plus 11, because you have actually given the minimum value of x and y, which was equals to 1 here. Now this is equals to s. And this is the new question that has been formed because here x prime and y prime is non-negative. So this was the conversion that I think I have told you ki ye conversion you'll have to remember. This is how we will do it in this particular case. Hence 154 is not the answer. Answer has to be 154 plus 18, which is 172. And I think most of you have gotten this wrong because this was the first time we were applying this. Okay. So I hope this is clear.
Sorry.
Hello.
Sir, can you please repeat why we have taken dummy variable as x is equals to x plus 1?
Sure. Okay. So let us come back to this slide, right? I've told you in this slide that this is what you need to remember, that if you have to find the positive integrals, or if in the question it is given that the variables are positive integers, or you have to find the positive integral solution, and you need to find the minimum value of k, then you basically apply this thing. And to apply this thing, what you have to do is you have to convert the variables into dummy non-negative variables. Either you can go and do it by the subjective ways, but then there are proofs which basically reduces everything so that you can solve questions faster. Hence, what I'm doing is I'm actually I'm only converting this so that I can apply this formula. There is no other concept. There is no other rocket science here. Only to be able to apply this formula, I'm converting this. Varna kya hoga? You'll actually have to remember 3-4 different formulas to solve this question faster. Hence, just remember this thing ki agar minimum pucha hai and if positive integers is given, what you have to do is just give the minimum value of x and y and try to convert this equation into a new equation such that x and y are non-negative. Now this equation makes sense. So now I can rewrite this as 7x prime plus 11y prime is equals to s minus 18. And now here x prime and y prime is non-negative. So now what I've done is I've actually converted my third quadrant into second quadrant. So now here I can simply apply the formula s minus 18 by 77 plus 1 has to be equals to 3. So s has to be equals to 172. So don't focus. Yeah.
Yeah, so over here, x and y are positive integers. There is no mention of the solutions to be positive, right? I mean, according to the shortcut here, you said that if we have positive integral solutions, then we are
Correct.
supposed to create these dummy variables.
What do you mean by
but over
solution, Shantika? What do we mean by solution? Those are the values of variables.
Yeah.
Right?
And I mean, yeah, you continue.
No. Please continue your question.
Could you please explain this part? I mean, I am a little bit confused
Sure.
over here.
See,
The 7x.
Okay. See, if I have to tell you ki find a positive integral solutions of this, and then if you would have applied some formula, see, positive integral solution basically means value of x and y, right? This is what you mean when we talk about finding solutions of this. And here it was already given to you that x comma y are positive integers, which means this is a case of positive integral solution and minimum value of k. So you just see that which of this table satisfies my condition. The condition being satisfied is this one, because a positive integral solution is what is given to me in the question, and I have to find the minimum value of k. So I would just apply this thing directly. What I'll do is I'll just convert the dummy variables and then solve it. This is the objective way. I'll also tell you the subjective way to solve this. So you guys then can figure out which one you are more comfortable with. But this is how you have to apply it. That the formula remains same. The only trick comes in positive integral solution. So whenever question tells you ki yaar positive integral solution hai, just make sure there's a catch. The catch is if k is minimum, or if one of the factor, or if one of a comma b is a factor of k, what you do is you just change the variables into dummy variables, or if you have to find a k maximum, you just change the sign from plus to minus. Shantika, is it clear? Like, there's nothing to understand here. Only thing you need to understand is how and when to apply which formula. That is the only thing that I expect out of you guys, at least in this slide.
So just one more application related only question. If it's given in the question that x and y are both greater than 3, so will we be applying 4 and 4, 7 4 is
Yes,
28 and
yes.
11 4 is 44? Okay, fine.
Yes. The faster way to do that calculation is 11 plus 7, 18 into 4, 72. As in just
Right.
simple maths.
Right.
So rather than doing 7 into 4 plus 11 into 4, just take 4 common and 7 plus 11.
Absolutely.
Just save your time. But yes, you're correct. So you will see a lot of application when you're writing mocks. You would definitely see such questions on mocks, on groups, and this is how they need to be solved within minutes. I will again come to the subjective part of it, but try remembering this thing. There's not much that I'm asking you guys in the entire session to remember, but I think this is something that will save your time.
So that's all for today. I hope you all have learned something new. So yeah, stay tuned and press the subscribe button to be notified on the next video.